Hi all, welcome back to today's podcast. Today's podcast is a little bit of agriculture shows, what's happening on the farm, a few pieces like that. Visit the garden or grain, and a little bit about football as well. So, to start off with, Elaine and myself will be having our podcast coming out, and it will be on Patreon. It's how would you describe it? The idea of it is bridging the gap between my generation, her generation, different ideas and different ways of thinking, and just a general chat between me and her. So it's for anyone in the same situation as ourselves, it might be interesting. We're trying. I'm using it kind of to also to see what way she's thinking, and that like so. But she's on holidays now from school, so she'll be joining me on the YouTube videos and stuff a bit more, because you can't overdo the kids. So I'm going to start with agriculture shows again. No, it's an important little thing, and the best thing about this community is, like, someone got in touch with me who is involved in a agriculture show, and they just said that from their side of it, some of the points I made on the last podcast. So from their side of it, they just said, "Would you bring it in and put it into the podcast?" And I said I would. That's no problem at all. So a couple of little things. So it shows and the online entry. Why they're doing it online. And to make life easier, which is something I probably should have thought of. Better idea of number of animals going to be entered. So that means you know how many pens you need, how many rings you need, all sorts of bits, little things that you need, how much water trucks you need, and how much water you need to supply for people and that. And then something that I didn't think of, but something what the problem that the show person had was there was people winning prizes in the show, but they were never paying their entry fee. So when they were paying online, it cut out that. Um, Now look, you can still enter most shows during the day, um, to into the classes, but at least 90% of them is done online, and it just them are a couple of reasons why it's online, and it's important that you can't have people winning prizes and they're not paying the entry fee. And the person said to me that it didn't happen once, didn't happen twice. This was a 3-year thing that was going on, so they just said they couldn't stick it anymore. And I suppose if the person's local, it's worse because they're just taking advantage of people's good nature. Like, then the other thing was, if you have too many classes, you need extra sponsorship. You could be €500 per section in the classes, like so, which is a good bit of prize money. Uh, it's not cheap, and it's not easy to get sponsorship all the time. That certain shows would be struggling, and shows are relying on the foot passengers through the door. So in the sense that if it's a wet day, the number of people visiting the show will be down, income's down, and a show may not break even. And the show is supposed to break even. It's to keep it going. It's not to make money, but it is to break even. So from that point of view, it's them just little things from the show sides committee. But I would still be of the opinion that, okay, if there's classes aren't working out, or there's not enough in certain class, if they're not booked in, kind of, scrap it. Have a plan B. Like, that one class is big and there are different type of sheep in it. Change it up. Because like, just as I come back to the Suffolks that day, the show in the ram class, there was one ram, huge, humongous ram, and he'd no competition. He won anyway, but he'd no competition. It was only him in it. Where the class that Elaine was in with chips, no, didn't work. There was too many age Jows in it, and in the Hoggett Jows, none of them had a chance, which to me, just I understand that you have to have the things organized, but just to me, just then that type of class just doesn't make sense. And look, as I say, it's only an opinion, and the good thing about this, it sparks the debate, and if it gets the debate going, that other people will have a conversation about it, well then the job's done. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is we went down. I'm in a child discussion group. We went down to Gardner Grain, and we got to see their how they make their meal. So they have a brand new setup. So basically, from where the meal goes in to the shed, goes through belts into big so not the meal, the ingredients goes into the shed, goes through big belts into the silos, and then where it's mixed and where it's made up. Then when it comes out, where it's shaken up, where the minerals are added to it, and it's brought on then, and then the molasses is added into it at the end, into the big bays, and then it's moved from there to where they need to move it to. It is something that I found very, very interesting. It was also something that I thought that they've made great advances in, because it's a new setup, so a lot of it's computerized. And I suppose eventually being computerized, you should be getting a more guaranteed spread of ingredients that what's printed in should be going in. And because it's brand new, naturally enough, now they don't have much problems. But I suppose in a few years' time they might have more problems. But it was really good to see. It was really interesting, and I have to say now, if anyone's in the buying meat off a company and you can get to go and see it, take the opportunity, because it's interesting to see what you buy and where it comes from and what it is, because we could see then the machine where they bag the half-ton bags. Now, something I was told was the half-ton bags is a more of a big thing in the east of Ireland, not so much a big thing in the west of Ireland. I think our meal, when we get delivered, 90% of it's in half-ton bags. Like, it's so handy. You leave your bag in the shed, you work out a bit to the bits and pieces you want, and we find it works quite well. Then you could see where they store the different ingredients, the barley, the oats, all the ingredients that they use, the hulls and all. Then you could see where they were bagging it in little small bags, and it's all automated by a computer. And it's all automated by stacking it on with a robot onto a pallet. And how simple it is, but how quick it is. It doesn't look that quick when you're watching 2, 3, 4, 5 bags going, but when you're there for a couple of minutes and you see the volume of bags going through it, and no man hasn't touched anything, it's a great system, and it's great. Look, it's great to see. But I suppose from what I was looking for was, when you turn up to these places and they'd say, we're working here, we're doing this, that. Something that I couldn't get over was how clean it was. We were there, there was machine loading shovel, and he was drawing stuff from there to there, moving things around. If I was on a loading shovel somewhere and was drawing stuff, generally I'd be spilling stuff, but there was no spillage. And it wasn't tidy for people visiting, because you'd see where it was swept and where it was tied up. This was just somewhere that's naturally tidy, always tidy, and I just thought really well done. And then the presentation was very good, because they went through the kind of history of the thing, but they also, when you asked them questions and talked to them, they knew what they were talking about, because they had all the answers, and it was a really nice, genuine chat, and something that I've been looking forward to seeing for a few years. Now, we didn't get to see them actually being made, which kind of would have been good, but at the same time, probably for health and safety reasons, you wouldn't be allowed to do that. So it kind of, it was good to see. I was very happy to see it now, I have to say. The other thing I wanted to bring in was recently, Alicia Lanham of Switzerland, she was playing with our national team, and They played an under 15 boys team and they got bet. And there was a lot of things in the media about, oh, the boys bet the professional women and a lot of slagging of it. But kind of what I want to do is I want to rewind people's minds back, probably nearly 30 years. So when I was under 16, which would be the same age as them lads, 15, we used to play our local girls team playing football, local GA girls, ladies team. So every Wednesday night we played, for the whole summer, we played this ladies team. And we dished them out. Some nights we dished them out with beatings, some nights it was close, and other nights you'd win comfortably. But it never was the same game twice. But it never was an easy game. So a lot of these players were kind of, say, mid-20s, and then a couple of girls that were younger. But they had girls on the team that could beat lads for pace and score, like, so it wasn't all one way. But they had a girl cornerback, and she wasn't tall, but she was hard as nails. And there was one girl wing back, and she was playing, oh, these are so fast, it's not every week, this is so hard. And she kind of started complaining a little bit. And Joanne turned on her own teammate and said, look, we'll win the championship. This is our preparation. We won't get better preparation than playing teams that are better than us and faster than us. And that was her mindset, was, well, they're beating us, but this is the best training we can get to win. And I suppose this is the point of it. It doesn't matter whether it's football, life. We're going to be challenged. The point isn't the challenge that you face. The point is how you react to the challenge. And with them doing that 30 years ago, that team won the county championship year after year after year, because every under 16 team that came up in the club, they played them. And year on year after year, they won the championship. And I remember being in Auckland one Sunday, and they were playing the county final. Girl got the ball 45 yards out, and she saw it full tilt. She hit to the 21. Went a little bit to her left and put the ball into the far top corner. Now, to this day, I haven't seen a better goal in any grade of football, men's, women, or anything else. And it's like, that's 30 years ago, and I can remember it like yesterday. The girl was absolute flyer. And I suppose, and this is what, and the skills and their performance came from playing teams at a higher standard and having to work that bit harder. So while people nowadays are slagging Switzerland for doing that, Switzerland's performance in the next match that they play probably will be a couple of percent better for what they done. And as I say, like, you can bring that challenge from farming to life to anything. Like, when you're farming, things aren't always simple. They certainly don't work out the way you want. Like, example being, me and Yvain came to collect some Dorset lambs, and I said, yeah, call up, no, it's no problem at all. So went to get in the lambs, they wouldn't go in. These lambs normally run down into the pen and, load them up grand. Wouldn't go down into the pen. Got them into the pen eventually. Got them picked out. The horseflies absolutely murdered us. Like, I don't know where they came out, but they absolutely attacked us. And we're loading the lambs, and the next thing, two out with a trailer, gone out the field again. The job we had getting them back in. So we got, I suppose, in 5 minutes, we got a week's hardship. But how you react to that is what's important. So how I reacted to it is simple enough. The ram lambs is belonging to them. Your lambs, they're gone to the sale. They're gone, because you couldn't. They're not going to be finished for a while. And they're up on the latest YouTube video. They're on one of the videos. There's a video about them. They haven't done quite as well as they had beforehand, but they're going to be in the way, a bit of a nuisance. So now I just said, there's only a handful of them. We clear out what we have, and then we start again with the next batch to see if we're going to finish them and what we're going to do. But again, as I said to you, the point of it is, from my view of it is, when you're looking at that with the football, it's not the challenge is so much, it's how you react to the challenge. I think that's important. Like, Meath on Sunday against Galway was a perfect example to it. Things aren't going to go your way all the way, but you knuckle down and you get on with it and you do your best. So On the farm at the moment, God, what are we up to? Well, the Rams are out with the Dorsets, so it's all go with them. I haven't gone back to see how much of them has tipped, so I did put a rattle on the Rams to see where the owl's tipping. I don't want them all lambing the one day or in the 1 week, so I'll be happy enough if there's a nice few at the start and then a little bit of a lull and a few more. So not looking to get loads and loads of them out. So we have started the weaning of our horn joes, so the store lambs are gone and the yow lambs they're on the way out to gate 2. They're the mule yow lamb, so we've kept the replacement yow lamb. So I suppose, how would you describe it? It's a matter of getting a batch of sheep out of the way, getting numbers down in a week, that the next week can start on it. And then of course we delivered the store lambs, opened up the tags, had loads of tags for the store lambs, loads of tags for the mule yow lambs. But when I was looking, going, oh crap, I have more yows to sell very soon, so gonna have to order more tags. So had to order tags straight away, and again online, so it does make it that little bit faster. But hopefully then we'll have them for next week. So we're going to start the weaning similar to last year and the year before, in the sense that do a batch, get them organised, and then we'll do another batch and get them out of the way. So the owls and lambs all have to be effective pour on, bits and pieces with them like that. So it's all go, and it's quite busy because we've started the silage. So we've done 2 bits on the silage ground. Now they had no fertilizer, no nothing. So the bales of silage on it, it's not high, but the quality is deadly. Then we're starting more now. When this records, we're starting more today or the next day, and kind of looking forward to it because I need the grass for finishing lambs, moving lambs onto, and then going to put a bit of fertilizer and get a second coat off 2 fields, regardless of the numbers I have, because it's just, I want to make sure this year that I'm not tight, that I have loads of it. So then with weaning, starting to wean the ewes, we're going to be coming along to organise ourselves to get the kind of January, February batch lambing. We're going to have to get the teasers out to them, get them fixed up. So we're kind of in between as to what we're going to do with them, what ram I'm going to put with them. I'm not putting a dorsal ram with them. There's a few dorsal joes, a few mule yows, there's a few hoggets, bits and pieces. So when I get them all together, I'm going to see what ram. I'm actually thinking of a Suffolk text just to try it out, but we'll wait and see. What happens when the sales come up. I'll keep an eye on some of the sales and I'll go to them. I just want a sheep. These are for factories. I just want a sheep that's going to go boom, factory, on you go. And the reason that I'm not putting out the dorsals, because the dorsals with the other rams, and if I had dorsals with these yows, what's going to happen is I could be tempted to keep the yow lambs rather than finishing them. So at least if I put out a different breed of ram, like a Suffolk that I don't have, and it's kind of cross, I'm not going to be inclined to keep the yow lambs. If I put out a Texel ram with these yows, and be there, oh, there's a couple nice Texel lambs, could keep them, they'd be ideal. Like, so the idea is that I can put out a ram with them that I'm not going to keep the lambs after them, and that's kind of the idea. If I get attached to one or two, and or at least if I say, oh, I can't keep them for whatever reason, she'll understand that. So the last bit is all our farm life videos are up on YouTube. So they may not be the most exciting jobs that we're doing or the most exciting jobs that's on, but it's it's farm life, it's what we're doing that week and bits and pieces. So the idea with the podcast and the YouTube is that you get to talk about what we're doing on the farm, but the videos you get to see, because I don't do a lot of talking in it, and I'm kind of looking forward to Elaine joining me over somewhere now, because at least me and her can do a bit more interaction where I can't really stand there and talk to myself, be crazy. But and again, as I say, make sure and check out myself and Evan's chat because it will be interesting for anyone who is a little bit further down the line of what to do with the next generation, how to communicate with them. So just gives her perspective on things. And in the first podcast, she was a little bit nervous, so she's a bit quiet. So you might just make sure to turn up the volume a little bit because she was a bit nervous, which is understandable. And that's it for today. I hope you are enjoying it. Oh yes, one last thing. On the podcast, some people in Sweden who've been downloading it, you have jumped up the table of the, I think you're in fourth place listeners now, but you've gone from lower down to way up the table. So whoever's listening in Sweden, keep downloading it because you are catching up on the countries ahead of you. You have come, I don't know where you have come from, but you've passed out Canada, Australia, New Zealand is into the top 5, and you've absolutely ripped up the table in the last few weeks. So you have a bit to go to catch a few of the higher countries, but if you tell your friends and that, maybe you can catch them before the next one. So as I say, look, thank you all very much for joining me, and I very much appreciate everyone who downloads it and listens. It's an absolute pleasure here doing it, and as I say, thank you very much.